Stampers, this is Amy Whalen. I'm so glad that you joined me here at Amy's Inklings. I wanted to show you a couple of things with this particular card. I don't know if you can tell from the angle of the camera, but there are some blind embossed lines here that I made with the Simply Scored plate. I've done that on a previous project, but I thought today I'd show you how quick and easy it is to do that. I also watercolored this background and then masked and stamped these beautiful flowers with painted petals, and I thought I'd show you how to do that as well. So let's go ahead and get started with the watercoloring background. I took our Pool Party ink pad, pressed it to get ink on the bottom, or rather the inside of the lid, and then I'm using one of our Aqua Painters. Now I've showed you these before too. In the past I've used this smaller brush tip because it's easier to watercolor with it. But when you're doing a background wash like I'm doing here, it's actually easier to use the big one. So what I want is to get my brush pretty wet. I want this paint in this palette now to be pretty wet. And I kind of guesstimated where my square was going to be. I want this part to be kind of organic, so this is what I usually do. I don't want real straight lines. So I kind of did that a little bit. Now this is our plain Whisper White cardstock. So you can watercolor on it, but you do have to be quick and careful. If you go over the same spot more than once, it will tend to start to rip the paper. So you can do this with obviously our watercolor paper as well, but I just, because I have this handy, I always seem to grab it. So that's how you do the background. Now when it dries, then you can mask it. And I've masked 3 of the sides with a sticky note, and I'll do the last one here. Okay, so here's our little window. Alright, so I'm going to start with our old olive cardstock. And again, what I'm using is painted petals. It is a beautiful set. It actually has 2 boxes. There we go. There's the other side. I just put them all in one box. Alright, so we're going to start with the petal. Let's see. I'll do it there. And I'll do it there. Okay. And then I'm going to come in with our Coral Calypso, excuse me, not our Coral Calypso, excuse me, I'm even saying the color wrong. This is Tangerine Tango. And you're going to go ahead and ink, so again, this is Tangerine Tango, and you're going to go ahead and stamp those flowers on the stems. And of course, by nature of masking, some is getting within the window and other areas aren't, and that's exactly what you want. Now the little stems come like this, and if you look at it, one side has the stems where they're all kind of different heights. These are straight across. I like to use the one where they're slightly different heights, and I just kind of did that here. And then in the very same way that I did those flowers, I then came in and stamped the little teeny flowers here. Now this stamp set has 3 flowers. I did one at a time because I wanted my flowers to be different colors, and so I just kind of carefully did that and maybe kind of inked it that way. I used also crushed curry as well as blackberry bliss. So that's basically how I did that. And as you can imagine, once all the colors are stamped for all the petals, then this is what you ended up with. Of course, I went ahead and stamped it, thank you, also Blackberry Bliss ink, and mounted it on the Blackberry Bliss cardstock, which is, oh my gosh, it's such a yummy color. I love it. Alright, so what I wanted to show you next was how I got those blind embossed lines. Let me move all my items away. Oh, and look, I like this reveal. Oh, isn't that cool how that happens? Oh, love it. I'll go ahead and apply those sticky notes back, and I'll finish that project later. Alright, so this is a piece of Whisper White cardstock. It's already cut at 8.5 by 5.5, and I did already score it on my trimmer. Now what I did was I figured, okay, if this is 4¼ inches wide, then the half point has to be 2 inches and 1/8. And so that's where this little mark is. I actually made a little pencil mark there just to show you. But these are markers You get 2 with the board. You can order additionals also. Maybe even get more than 2. I'm not quite sure. I've just had these 2 out. But when you put your marker there, it kind of shows you where to start. And what I like to do is start in the middle and then work my way out. That's the middle line. I'm going to go 3 on this side. I know it's hard to see on this cardstock. And I'm going to go 3 on this side. Did I get that one? Yeah. Nope, I didn't. Okay, so I have 1 here in the middle, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 on both sides of that. Then I turned my cardstock, and here again I figured out the halfway point of 5.5, which is 2.5 plus another 1/8, if I'm not mistaken. But it's here, and I've marked it here. So I started there, came over, and stopped at that score line. Okay. Because I only want it on the front. And then just like I did the other way, I'm going to do 3 on both sides. 1, 2, 3. Let's see if I did that one. 1, 2, 3. Now, I want to show you something that I've discovered too. This is the depressed side. I think that's how you say it. If you turn it over, then you have the relief side. I hope I'm saying that right. And I don't know if you can see the lines, but they are there, and they add such a subtle beauty to your projects. So I hope that helped. I'd like you to give it a try. It's a lot of fun. I actually got this idea online from another fellow Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And let me tell you, this is one of the wonderful things about being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. There are resources out there where other demonstrators from all around the world get together and we share ideas. It's so much easier and more fun to stamp when you can share ideas and use ideas that other people have posted out there. So again, this was not my idea, that was hers, and I think she did a beautiful job, and I like to emulate it. And by the way, this is a great time to sign up as a demonstrator with Stampin' Up! We're in the midst of celebration, and right now, new demonstrators get additional free product in their starter kit. I'd love to speak to you about it. I'd love for you to join my team. Thanks so much for stopping by Amy's Inklings. Bye-bye.